Welcome back to the Giant Beastcast. Here we go, folks. Rev that engine. It is summer here in the United States of America. Summer here on the East Coast, where we are filming this live from our respective, I'll just call them houses, but I'm not sure as we go around. Alex Navarro, how are you doing and where are you?
An apartment is not a house.
Okay.
That much I feel very
dwelling.
certain about.
Let's say dwelling.
It is a home, but it is not a house.
Okay, a dwelling.
Yes.
How is your dwelling?
My dwelling is largely unchanged from the last time you asked about this, probably like 3 months ago.
Okay, great answer for a great setup. Next up, Abby Russell. How is your dwelling? Has it changed at all?
No, it's
still
in my apartment. Still very warm. Everything is exactly the same. Thank you for asking, Vinny.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Any more questions?
No, not really. For those listening to the audio podcast, Abby's still just kind of right up there on her computer, just kind of the
still
laptop,
on the squeaky chair.
still on the squeaky chair, just kind of hanging out. Mm-hmm.
I had approximately 500 computers on that desk in my living room. I spent all of my time there. My camera showed the entire audience my nasty ass apartment, and it felt invasive and I didn't like it. So you know what, Vinny? I moved everything. I brought my kitchen table into my bedroom and I moved it all into my bedroom, and I got a new computer from work, and now I have a proper setup. And then I was like, oh my God, I have this comfy chair in my room. Why don't I just sit in that? And here we are, Vinny.
I know. I am not saying, I am saying this out of 110% jealousy. You look very comfortable. It still sounds very good. And like I'm
great.
I'm waiting for the compromise is where I'm at. I'm like waiting for
Honestly,
the
the only compromise is that all of my consoles are in the other room. So I need to make sure that door is like way open when I'm like have a controller. But honestly, it's been working fine.
Okay.
And also the internet is over there. So like I get an Ethernet cable, it should be fine. It's running well enough. So these are the compromises.
Okay.
In case you're wondering. Also, another compromise is I'm really worried I'm going to accidentally show my feet on stream.
Okay, don't do that. We're not there yet. Yeah, that's August. We all said that.
A lot of dead air after I said that one.
I tried to jump in real quickly to cover and bridge the gap here. Speaking of bridges to my soul and heart.
What are you talking about?
The bridge, the traverse, the bridge, pay, the toll, Jeff Bakalar.
What do you do with that?
Okay. Okay.
What do you expect Jeff Bakalar to do with that?
I
just one person.
I expect him to pick it up and run with it.
Just and
just go for it.
That broke me a little bit. Good thing I've got Easy Pass.
All right, I'll take it.
Nice.
Yeah,
and off we go.
Dunk.
Thank you very much,
Jeff. Do you miss driving? I know you're a big fan of driving.
No, I'm back to driving a little bit. I'm pretty.
Really?
I'm back to doing it. Yeah, I'm a rebel.
Man,
driving down the road
right now must be so nice.
It's good. Lets us get to where we need to be. I feel like
which
a lot
is
of
probably nowhere.
Look, like there's stuff that's open and safe in New Jersey for the most part. I know that's not that way in the rest of the country, but New Jersey's done a pretty good job so far. So we're driving places. And,
good.
I drove to the doctor the other day, and it was the most liberating thing I've done in a very long time.
Wow.
No one has ever said that about a doctor's appointment before.
Well, good for the doctor's appointments. That's I have a really overdue dentist appointment that I keep pushing. I just don't want to do it. I mean, I don't mind going to the dentist. I just like that level of intimacy. It still feels weird. Even though they always wear a mask.
Put their fingers in your mouth right now. I know. It's like I also need to go to the dentist. I got my dentist reminder as well as my eyeglasses, but I'm like, but it's not the time.
Yeah, right.
Someone who has had repeated dental issues over the year, largely due to the fact that I am very bad about going to the dentist and finally got good at going to the dentist over the last 6 or 7 years. You have never had a better excuse not to go to the dentist than you do right now. So I say take advantage of it.
Dentists always wearing gloves and a mask. Never not wearing gloves and a mask. They're personally protected all the time. It's
probably never been safer.
Really, probably.
Well, the dentist, you're right.
Yeah, it's never been a better time.
Okay, let's talk about speaking of setups in our dwellings, I'm thinking about putting a wall up behind me and building.
Yes, Vinny.
Building a wall.
I cannot recommend having people not see anything behind you.
Yeah.
Do it.
You mean like my laundry machines and my steps? Yeah, I'm thinking about building a wall. And the reason I don't, here are the pros. The pros are I have the drywall. I would need to get the 2x4s, but I have drywall left over from my attic. I don't think it would be that hard. It's an interior wall, no insulation, nothing like that. I could run the electrical through it, not really a big problem. The cons are this is an unfinished basement that I would pay somebody to someday come in and finish when I have tens of thousands of dollars. So that wall would be ripped out. It would probably cost more money to then have people rip out that wall. And then also... there would never be I'm not going to put a floor or a ceiling in here, but nobody would know on camera.
Then don't do it. Just get a green screen.
That doesn't solve my problem of still being in the basement.
What's the problem?
Why do you need a wall?
Oh, yeah.
What is your problem?
You have a wall of figures.
My problem is like it's not comfortable. Like like there's a certain level of like I'm going to sit in this space for 8 to 10 hours a day. It's whoa. Where it's
anyone
it's kind of gross. I don't know. It's like not
okay. Is there ventilation down there? Is it
No way. There's not. It's terrible. It's a gloomy basement.
Is it hot down there?
So it stays temperature controlled basically. So when it's hot outside, it stays like in the 70s, so it feels cooler. Also we have what's it called? AC in the house. What is that called?
Centralized.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, central air. Okay.
And the blower and all the ducts are down here, and when they leak, it air conditions the basement. So all I gotta do is take my Leatherman and just cut open a tube and
start stabbing tubes and pipes.
Pipe in.
I mean, that's how the HVAC people do it.
Yeah, that's how they do it. Also, all the cold air sinks to the floor anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone knows
I
that.
fully support this. I think
you
should do what you want to do right now because who knows, one, when you can have someone to fix your basement, two, have the money to do that, and also three, you are going to be living in this space forever. I mean, just being real. You're going to be living in this space forever.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to
probably
leave.
working out of this space for a very long time.
Forever.
At least probably another 6 months, I would think.
Yeah.
So I would say make it as comfortable as you want right now. As someone who spent 2 days moving a whole lot of furniture around, I highly recommend it.
I could not disagree with Abby anymore.
We will now hear the argument from the Honorable Jeff Bacalar.
I'm not sure I've ever heard of such a needless wall in my entire life.
Why needless? I think of the things I can hang on this wall. I can hang so much on this wall, and there would be a separation between me and the laundry. Yeah, I think a floor might be more helpful. I could always lay down a floor. The problem, third con is sometimes the water comes in the basement, but it's mostly on that side of it, not necessarily on this side. That's another thing. Also, moisture comes up through the concrete, so you don't want to. There's some issues that would make this a very temporary thing, but anyway, how's everybody doing? Great, fantastic. Abby, I love your setup.
And I think you should stream you building.
If I do it, what if I just recreated your setup identically?
I would love that so much, Vinny.
Like literally build a corner.
I would get the biggest kick out of that. But it's like everything is just like 2 feet bigger.
I would have been smaller.
Or smaller.
Yeah, everything's smaller.
Or smaller. Yeah.
The exact. Yeah, sorry,
Jeff.
Jeff.
Tell me you get like active water down there too?
That's what I said. Yeah, so that's mostly on the other side of the basement. This side's not so bad. But there's active water, and there is sometimes, let's call it what it is, a sewage backup.
That happened.
Hey, occasionally. It's happened 3 times. Occasionally that happens.
Maybe that's where you should build the wall between you and the water.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tear down walls between me and the active sewage problem.
All right.
So here we are at the Giant Beastcast. It is either Thursday, July 9th, Friday, July 10th, whatever. And it is episode 268 here. I think. Is that right?
Yeah. That sounds probably right.
Okay. Sometimes they just increment the numbers and I forgot. And it's the Giant Beastcast. I have played bits and pieces of a lot of games and 2 very large chunks of 2 games. Let's start with the one that I probably can talk the least about, that we've talked the most about, which is The Last of Us 2. Boy, keep on going. Pedal is down. just
it's a 30-hour game, Vinny.
I think like Jeff said originally, you think you reached your destination, and you have not reached your destination, and I very much understand that now, and I don't want to give too much away because I think we're pretty close to doing. I know the event of the decade here, our spoiler cast for The Last of Us 2, I think is going to happen. I think most of us...
I'm ready for it. I finished
You're done.
it.
Okay, yeah. So most of us, I think, that are signed up to get on it, that are going to be on it, are nearing the end. I think I'm nearing the end. From what I can hear from sources, one of my sources tell me that I have reached the halfway point already, to which point I said, the fuck I have, because I thought I was like pretty much closing it out. So yeah, I think I'm moving forward. It seems like maybe the back half of it's moving a little faster than I thought. So my thoughts on it, that's going on maybe a little too long. And my thoughts on the mechanics, I think they're fine. I'm playing. We'll get into this more in the spoiler cast, but I have burned out on a bit of the stealth, so now I am currently playing loud and in charge. Here we go. I've got ammunition. I've got things that explode. Crouching. What is that? I don't even know anymore. Let's just line them up. Find a hole in a wall. Get behind the hole in the wall. Let them run to me. And it's Headshot City. So kind of moving through that, and I'm actually enjoying that a bit. Abby, I've taken a cue from you from watching all the Resident Evil and Dead Space stuff to not be hoarding all the like goodies for the
use it or lose it.
Use it or lose it. Yeah. So I am just kind of going loud and also I'm playing on normal, which feels like they're just dumping tons of health items and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that because I feel like I played on normal and I was like, is this too easy? Because it feels like for a long time you don't. It took me a while before I had my first like kill screen. And I felt like I was like picking up items and gear and like survival stuff like so much. And for it being a survival game, I was surprised. But the more I played, the more I actually started to like it because I feel like a lot of times in survival games and stealth games, I will go through and I will figure out like the perfect route and keep restarting until I get that route. Whereas with The Last of Us 2, I felt like I would go into it and then I would start that, and then I would be like, oh shit, I fucked up somewhere. Yeah. And then I would have to like improvise. And because I had so much stuff, I felt more freedom to be like, well, let's try this and let's try that. And I found it a much more dynamic experience, which I really enjoyed. I think the stealth is my favorite part of that game.
I've never felt shy about just throwing Molotovs and other things around and just, like using what bullets I got. Like, it's just never... I've yet to run it. Granted, I'm probably way behind where even Vinny is at this point, but I've never felt like I was wanting for stuff or resources to get me through combat encounters.
Yeah, I think to that point also, that exact point actually of I feel okay burning through a bunch of my supplies on an encounter that went wrong, knowing that I will probably refill them in the next 15 minutes. There are plenty of points where I am like, oh man, my health kits are full. I guess I'm missing a centimeter of health. I'll just burn a health kit because I'm walking by a bandage thing that's full. I'll just use this. Or I guess the flip side of that is, I just restocked my health kits and burned a bunch, and there's a full pre-made health kit sitting right there, which is has happened more than once. Yes. But whatever, better to have it than to not have it, right? So yeah, I think on normal, I'm enjoying it because it allows me to make mistakes. I think the game is also pretty forgiving about disengaging from combat and getting back into stealth, and in ways that don't feel like, where did he go? Where did he go? Where'd they go? They kind of hunt around a bit. It feels a little more realistic. I think tonally, I'm having pretty much. I mean, they're dark. The cutscenes are dark. There are dark things in it. There are things that are like, oh, that's gross. But I'm not finding it challenging, like in my space, which I thought I was going to go through at this point. I think
you're really good at video games. You're really good at video games.
Well, I don't even mean that. I just mean in terms of.
You mean like because I feel like people were talking about it like, oh my god, this is the most brutal, gory, violent game you've ever played. At least that's for me. My experience is like, oh, it's a Last of Us and like really high res, like it's well animated, but it's, I don't know.
And I think some of that is helping me in terms of like the hyper realism in the game. It makes it so that when there is goofy stuff, it just breaks all the tension. Like the decals when you get a headshot on somebody from far away are like, oh man, their head is like, and then you look a little closer, it's just like jelly decal on their face. And like, oh, that's okay. That's okay. Like we're okay there.
Oh, I feel like I got And like really brutal, icky stuff. Like especially if you use like a shotgun or like explosive. I feel like I was like, wow,
there's
that's
some
like
stuff.
that's some
pretty.
legit.
No, that stuff is bad. And there was one point. You have Ellie can like trip mines out, and there was one point I was like, oh, I'll try these out, and like just a dude at another person or just walking talking about comic books or whatever just hit the trip mine and turn into mist, and I was just kind of like, I'm gonna save these for the zombies. I'm gonna save these for the zombies because that felt really bad. That felt terrible. And like, there were also people like 10 feet behind them that watched it and were like, oh my god, it's just pieces of them everywhere.
But the deep irony there is that that's actually probably the least brutal of all the kills because that person didn't feel shit. They just vaporized. Yeah. That was the end of that. Whereas other people are gurgling for us
to watch.
Yeah, gurgling and screaming their way through like slow, agonizing deaths. And I feel like that's worse.
I don't do the like sometimes you'll take somebody out and they'll be like, oh my gosh, and they drop their weapon. They're just kind of like on the ground, and you have the option of doing like a fatality basically.
I've never seen that.
Oh yeah,
how do you get that?
They'll maybe a better shot than I am. Maybe if you wing them a couple of too many times. I usually just walk away and let them, which is maybe not the nice thing to do. Just let them bleed out.
Wow, I never saw any of those.
I don't want to waste the durability on any of my melee weapons, so it's like, I'm sorry, this 2x4 only has like one more pip on it. I guess you'll just have to bleed out.
And I know I'm pick one up right over that hill over there, but
where am I going to find another baseball bat with nails? I mean, it's just impossible.
So there's a couple kind of weird things about all that stuff. So why is it that the enemies can't see your? I know the clickers can't see your flashlight, but there are definitely other enemies that have eyeballs that seem to work and can't see your light.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I figured it was because they're dumb zombies. Like they're just too dumb for it.
Yeah, like they'll definitely, if they see you, they definitely will attack you. But I'm okay with that. That's one of the concessions of the hyper real stuff that I'm okay with because otherwise that game is just impossible to play if you have to turn your flashlight off.
I just do these things to the game sometimes. I will say like some of the gurgling and like it's like when you pop someone in the head, it's not. I felt it was icky the first couple times, especially when you like kind of go up close and be like, I'm just gonna take this bullet you have next to you, and that's your throat.
Oh my gosh! Also, speaking of taking stuff, man, duct tape in that game is the gold. I gotta get that duct tape. Everything else,
I always want those
rags.
Like the thing for the silencers, the bottles.
The bottles. I feel like I got tons of bottles. It's the duct tape. I need all that duct tape. When like I don't know why they're carrying around duct tape, but when a clicker drops some duct tape, very happy.
They carry some odd things.
I gotta say I've been playing a couple of games, these two big Sony games, and this is an embargo buster here or something, but I will say that both Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us 2, there is so much fucking gurgling in both those games. There's just like the gurgling is off the fucking charts, and it's a lot.
It's a lot of gurgles. There's a lot of I don't know if I mentioned this last time. There's a lot of taking control away before I'm ready in the game. Like a couple of times, more than once, this has happened where you reach a branching path, right? And you're like, oh man, I know if I squeeze through that wall, somebody's gonna come sideways at me and tackle me. I'm gonna fall through a floor, and I'm not done exploring this area yet. Or I could go through this door over here, and the floor is gonna fall away, and I'm not gonna be able to get back up to this area. But I'm still looking for a safe combination. Which one do I choose to go through?
Hot tip.
I have been using my ears for the safes. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, I was gonna say hot tip. You can tell a cutscene, a door activated cutscene, if the door's just like cracked open a little bit.
Oh, is that always the way?
Yeah, but there's some.
No, there's some.
Doors.
I'm telling you, more often.
No, that's right. Because it's like if you open a door versus a cracked door, but you still go through somewhere. It's just like I'm squeezing through a wall, or like I'm going under a garage.
Some of them are like they sneak up on.
Sometimes it's just like I'm walking across this brick. Oh, I guess we're falling now. I guess I'm done with that area. And they that's how they gate the backtracking, right? They have you fall too far so you can't climb back up. I think I missed one safe like that. The other thing I'm very curious about that I want.
Well, you can use your ears for the safe, which I did for a few of them.
That's cool.
What?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can.
I
yeah,
have
you
ears.
totally can.
Wait,
You can like listen for the different click.
Usually
like
the
a
code.
paper click.
There's only one, and
The code's around.
Yeah. So the other thing would love to hear from a developer on is, do you think they spread out all of the holsters and power up magazines in
Good
places
question.
where you're like, if you miss it, will you get it later on? Because
I want to say yes.
Oh, interesting.
they have to,
I wanna
right?
say yes.
Okay, because they can't be missable.
Yeah, I'm sure we get an answer on that, but I want to say
I feel like they
yes,
could be
just-
missable.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
I think you could miss a lot of stuff, but I think like the pivotal equipment upgrades.
Like the weapons.
I feel like a lot of
I
those pivotal
think
equipment
they're gonna
upgrades, like
make
there were
sure
very
they
few
have it.
safes that I was like, where is this? Oh, I'm searching and racking my mind. And I feel like even the ones where it was like a little bit more involved, I feel like usually just had like a bunch of ammo and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like
Right,
I
like
would be
do the
surprised if they
content
were
of the
missable.
safe, are they like changing? Right.
Right.
Like
That's my
I wanna
question.
Say, like I want to say like they could definitely do it, so it's not like we're asking, is there the choice to do that? But I feel like there's certain things that I got that felt really by luck.
I mean,
where I
but-
was like, oh, I stumbled into this shit.
So,
Like,
Abby, you finished it? You're done, right? And I assume by the end,
I'm done. I have a lot of thoughts.
And without getting into any spoilers, but you feel like you got all the upgrades and all the weapons and everything, right?
Yes, I didn't get. So I think that there's like no way to get all of the like pill upgrades, and there's no way.
No, right?
I don't.
No,
as far as I can, I think you have to do like New Game Plus to get like the pill upgrades and all the gun upgrades
Yeah.
because
That
I just
makes
didn't have
sense.
the supplies to do it.
Right, but you got all the trees, the
but
upgrade
I-
trees and stuff.
I got everything as
Yeah.
far as I can tell.
They must.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
I
interesting.
I got every book. I got everything.
that's what I was thinking. Like, are those books that unlock the pill branches? Do those have to be spread
Yeah,
out? Because
I
found
don't
some
think
of them.
so.
You don't think so? I found some
would
of
be
them in places
surprised.
where I was like, oh damn, I easily would have skipped that safe. I found some in safes.
We'll see. I don't know. I feel
But
like
you
that's the
didn't
thing.
skip the safe. I don't know.
I feel like it's a thing that will be answered, but it was a question I had of
Yeah.
like, oh man, if I didn't get the safe, would I have forever missed this talent tree? And that seems like it would be weird. But overall, I think I'm very much enjoying that game. I am, even though I think it might just be a mixture of I want to get this done so I can play other stuff. But it is,
Sure.
It changes up enough, I think, in some of the gameplay where I'm enjoying that as well. The other thing I played a lot of is, I've logged a lot of hours now in Astroneer, both on the site and off the site. And I think if you haven't watched Brad and me play that game, we've been doing an Astroneer series, and it's taken over a lot of my like late night gaming, of like my up until 2 a.m. gaming, which is not.
I can tell just from watching those streams that you are logging a lot of hours in this thing, and it seems like you're having a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It's a lot of organizing stuff. It's a lot of just remaking a base and reorganizing, and you have a lot of materials. So just putting all the materials, it's very Minecrafty. So imagine if you just had like a bin for each one of your blocks and all that stuff. So that's a lot of fun. Hard Space Shipbreaker, I did a stream not too long ago. Got up into the bigger tier of ships, which becomes much more complicated
I would think so.
in the game. Holy cow, you can get lost inside those things, and I almost suffocated inside a ship because I couldn't find my way out. I was not prepared for them to jump that large in scale, and it's weird. It's a cool thing because you're in between the outer layer of the ship and the inner structure of the ship, like squeezing between a wall on a giant ship, which can be a bit terrifying when your oxygen starts run out, but also you can then cut your way out, which is neat. Hard Space Shipbreaker, if you're looking for that. And then a bunch of little things that I've played with the kids. We've been trying to figure out what to do in the mornings. I have the kids in the mornings, trying to figure out how to spend some time, trying to do some exercise. Thank you, Last of Us 2. I've designed a very good zombie obstacle course outside, where you got a jump rope. I have a tire that I have out there. You got to go through the tire. You got to run around. You got to deliver supplies.
Is this for you or the kids? Sorry.
For all of us.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So we run the obstacle course in the morning. Trying to do a little yoga, though I don't know how much longer that'll go because the kids are bored out of their minds. And that's for me. That was for me. I was like, listen, old man's got to stretch a little bit before we do this. And then after we do a lot of exercise, then they have the privilege of watching me play a game for a half hour to an hour because it's not their screen time yet. So I've been playing.
Do they get to watch you play Last of Us?
No, they do not. They get to watch me play Baba Is You. So we're trying to finish that and Crayon Physics Deluxe, which is a kind of older game, but they have a lot of fun. You know, we play together.
That sounds cool.
It is cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think once I break the seal on you guys can play video games during this time I'm supposed to be watching you or have screen time or just watch a movie, then that's going to be it. Like that's once that dam is open, then that's all we're going to do.
Open the dam, dude.
I don't know. That's
July.
I know. They have plenty of screen time. They get screen time after dinner and all that stuff. And then on the weekends, I mean, they're just on there for forever. I can't play a game. They're just on there. Once in a while, I'll be like, oh, they're on there. I'm going to go play a game. And then I realize, oh, that's right. They're on there using the Steam link and I can't play on my computer. Damn it. Go upstairs on my Xbox One and play Minecraft Dungeons. I don't know, or something. I don't know, whatever it is. Alex, what you been playing that you can talk about?
That's a good question. The answer is nothing. I have actually played 3 things over this last week that would all be for fascinating discussion on this podcast, but unfortunately, literally all of them are embargoed until next week. So I will be able to talk about that stuff on the next Beastcast, but right now I am shackled.
All right. Abby, what you been up to? I know you've been finished Last of Us.
I did. Can I give my thoughts? I think I won't give any story spoilers.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But my thoughts now that I finished it.
More thoughts. Here we have them.
I have like mixed feelings on it. I loved the combat, but I think that has huge pacing issues, which I think knowing that like I was ready for it to end way before it did really made it hard for me to care about the final moments of the story. I also felt like the morals of it were like a little muddy, where I'm like, I think I know what you're going for, but like there's a lot that I feel like contradicts it, which I think goes into the like sort of boring ass like Ludo narrative shit of like we're killing a lot of people here. I don't know. I like the combat. I enjoyed the game playing it, but I was ready for it to end. And I feel like what I love so much about the first Last of Us was I felt like it had like a few really strong emotional moments, and like that was kind of it. Whereas I feel like this game is like, there's so many moments that just feel like almost like melodramatic, or like, especially towards like the back half, like almost a little bit like soap opera-y. Then I'm a little like, all right, like it makes it harder for me to like engage with the characters, I think. Jeff, what do you think? Do you agree? As someone who's also finished. And I guess Vinny, you've probably gotten pretty far too.
Yeah, I'll probably save a lot of those thoughts also for the spoiler thing, because you have to go into some detail, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
I know.
Yes.
You broke up a little bit at the end there, but I think I got the gist of what you're saying. I definitely, for me, I think pacing. There were a number of times in that game where I was definitely like, oh boy, okay, and you know, for better or worse, I think that's. I'm sure that stuff was, you know, sort of mulled over forever, and. Sure. I think at the end of the day, I am happy with the thing as a whole. If we're just talking about pacing, I think, you know, it's very obvious to see what they're trying to do and the bigger sort of strategy of how you play that game and what that's supposed to mean. And I think for the most part, whether or not you find it meaningful, I think it does come across successfully. Whether or not you enjoy the message it sends is another story. But yeah, like,
well, it's not even about me enjoying the message it sends. I think that like during the second half of the game, there's sort of a split, and like it's very clear what they're going for pretty much right away. And then I have to play 8 more hours of it, you know. And then I feel like there's a lot in the story that happens as you play those 8 hours that kind of feel like they contradict the thing they're trying to say. That I'm a little bit like, what are you trying to go for here? That just made it like a little bit like, well, fine, it's fine. I don't know. I think I also just like really loved the first one. I really love Left Behind. So I liked the gameplay in this one, and I liked some of the story moments, but I think by the end I was so ready for it to be over that just didn't really hit for me.
There are some points, and I don't want to rehash my thoughts on it, but you brought up a good point of being like, how are we going to get there? Things that reminded me of one of the things in the game that I both love and just laugh at every time it happens, because this happened like maybe 3 or 4 times. You're in a spot and you're like, oh man, we gotta get all the way over there. All right, let's go. You play for about half hour, 20 minutes, and then whoosh. No, you get whooshed down a river. Like, oh my gosh, I fell down a river. Where am I? Oh wow, we popped up pretty close to where we need to be. And then 2 hours later in the game, you're like, all right, now we gotta get all the way over there, and then something else happens.
And I think what kills me for those too is like some of those spots you're going to, it's like, oh, this is like a huge journey, gotta get over there, right? And then there's like other people there, and it's clear like, oh, you guys come here all the time. Like, why the fuck was it such an ordeal for me? And then also there's like one point where it's like you get there, and then it's actually not one point. This happens like every fucking time when you think you get to the end. It's like, no, you're turning right back around, baby.
Totally.
Like you are literally gonna retrace your steps.
It is
here we go.
It's a little bit like the video game equivalent of like a soccer match or something, of like you like, I got the ball all the way here, and then the goalie just punts it across the field, and you're like, all right, well, stock up on ammo, let's go. This other place.
So many times, and we talked about this, but so many times, where you like, for me, I was just like, sometimes I take notes if I'm doing a review, and I'll just be like, oh well, they're definitely going to address this in part 3. Oh, I'm playing that now. Okay, I'm gonna play the part 3 right now. And then and I know this has been said, but I'll just reiterate it. This game for me is the absolute best when you're in the thick of the shit. When you're in these like very complex and layered engagements, the sort of like chaos that all these elements in the sort of like that those engagements that you find yourself in. I feel like they just give you the right tools and the right environments and the right amount of balance of stuff where everything is just, there's chaos, but it's just so much fun to be a part of and so intense. And I don't really think anyone does it better than these guys in this, context of like just the shooting and like that stuff is A+. It is.
It's very much
close to perfect as you can get.
Very much.
I fully agree with that. I think like I said, I think the gameplay is great. I think it's killer. I think the stealth is really good and really fun and really dynamic. But I also think that like by the halfway point and like a little bit past the halfway point, I was a little fatigued by it. I think Vinny, you also talked about this of like, I'm just gonna go loud here.
Here we go.
And I had some more moments. Like there was one encounter that I literally like was like, well, I'm just gonna try to sneak past everything because it wasn't super clear if like, is that what the game wants me to do? So I snuck past it. Somebody saw me. I killed them with a crowbar and then just like literally booked it out of there and ran through it and then just like didn't do anything.
And I think
like fine.
Yeah,
and
which I think is fine.
I think that's interesting too. But my issue is like the pacing and the length and some of the story beats just didn't hit. I think for me.
But I think Jeff, I want to say to your point, I think Naughty Dog still does like when they hit. I've had like 3 or 4, let's call them 3, really wow moments with the set pieces. Like some of the set piece stuff that's like, oh, we're in an enclosed space. This is really cool. I really like what you're doing here. We'll get into it in the spoiler cast, but I can think of at least 2 off the top of my head that I'm like, this is a cool part of the game. And then they're like, this is very well done, very deliberate, I love all the detail in this place. And then Uncharted has those, right? I think Uncharted's at its best when you're like, oh, I'm in this cool set piece. There are certain parts of Last of Us 2 that it's like, oh, right. This can be a very good survival horror game. This is a spooky set piece. And then there are some parts of those things where it's like, this part, like I wish I could just run past this part as well. I'm just gonna go prone in the grass, put the bottle on my pistol, and just keep refilling that bottle every time. Man, there's so many times because I'm an idiot that I'll just be like, pop, pop, bottle, and then bang! It's like, oh, right, the bottle ran out. And everybody's like, what are you doing? It's just like,
no, I love those moments though, because then you like have to run and like dive into grass.
Yeah,
and
I know. It just
and then you like put another bottle on real quick.
I just wish there was a button I could use this a couple of times where like Ellie will just slap herself in the head and be like, you idiot! Like, idiot. Had you not know this Pepsi bottle with the rag in it was going to explode on this one. It's got a little meter right underneath it. All right. Anyway, anybody else have Last of Us 2 thoughts before we move on? Okay. Abby, anything else you've been playing?
Yes.
Okay.
I also played Papers, Please, which is a game I had played before, but like a long time ago. And I made the mistake when I first played it of playing it. It was like right when I got the Steam Link controller. And I made the mistake of playing it with that controller. And it's like not well suited for that controller. So I never really finished it. And I was like, oh, I should go back and finish this. And I did. And it's great. But there are also like 20 endings. And now I'm like, well, I gotta see his endings.
Oh wow!
I gotta see how else this will go. I feel like I didn't really get a good ending. I got like a middle of the road ending. So I'm like, I gotta figure out more endings. But that game is very good, very satisfying. I mean, similar to Oberdin, it's great music, and the music is actually very similar to Oberdin's music too. Great music. I think really captivating. I think the repetitive gameplay works really well with the story for when like, oh, here are the moments when like things go wrong or you have to make a choice. I think one of my bigger complaints is that like the game is really hard. Like it's a lot of information that you have to check. But while you're doing that, you're also trying to like solve some story issues. So the whole premise of the game is you are like an immigration officer and you are like checking everyone's passports for like an authoritative government. So like part of that is making decisions of like, am I going to let in this person who is like clearly someone against the government and they don't have the right paperwork, but maybe it'll help their cause if I let them through? Or like, am I going to be lenient about this person because like their husband just went in and it's like, my wife is behind me, please be nice to her. And like, it's making those choices that I think are good. I think the issue I sometimes have with it is I feel like I want to make a narrative choice and I fuck up the gameplay. And it's like, oh shit, I forgot that was like a person's name. And they told me like 4 people ago. And like, there's so much information I'm looking at that like, that is just lost to me. Which I think can stink a little bit when it's like, oh shit, I'm just trying to like also discover the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Papers, Please is really cool and like conceptually really fascinating to me. But like one thing I would not describe that game as is flexible. Like you can't like just kind of work your way through it exactly the way you want to, because there's too many things that kind of can go sideways if you're not, you don't hit the right thing or do the right thing. So I played through it a couple of times and that was enough for me. Like I've just looked up the other endings and stuff, and that was good enough for me. But
I probably will for a lot of the endings.
Yeah, and as like again, just as a concept, I still think it's one of the most inventive things to come out of video games, certainly in the last 10 years.
Yeah, totally.
Abby, anything else?
I also on Steam, they were having a sale, and I bought all the, I think they're called humongous games from the developer. They did like Pajama Sam, they did Freddy Fish, they did the Putt Putt Travels Through Time kinds of games, and I'm very nostalgic for them. I probably shouldn't have bought the whole bundle. I should have bought like 3 and for $10, but I was impulsive. And my friend Grace Bruxner is like streaming them, and I was like, these are fun. I gotta play these. They're real cheap. I didn't know that they were available on Steam, and I started playing Pajama Sam. The first Pajama Sam, it's like No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside, I think is the subtitle. And I played it so much as a kid where like I don't remember it now, but it is so familiar in like a very kind of weird way. But I'm loving it. I'm excited to keep playing them. I have a whole lot of them now.
I love that level of like it's like your version of Jeff Gerstmann's Mister, right? It's like you someday you're going to be building a dedicated console to play these old games and talking about it and be like, Pajama Sam, the frame rate's a little off here. The sound doesn't really sound right. You got to play it on a flat screen, not a holographic TV. I love it. And it was always fascinated me like the nostalgia windows, right? Like of the like I played this as a kid, right? And like if I look at that same thing, I'll be like the same way my kids look at like an Atari game and be like, I don't get it. Like that's a block.
I think you would like these, Vinny. I think you'd like them.
They probably would.
For kids. They're a little slow, but they're good adventure games. They're really lovingly animated. The voice stuff is good. I think you'd like them, Vinny. I think maybe we should play them together.
There we go.
We got time. I have like 30 of them now. Yeah.
All right. That's the humongous games from Steam. You got them?
Yes, I got them on Steam.
Anything else, Abby?
That is mostly it. I mean, still Animal Crossing. There was that update. You can swim and like catch sea fish and all that stuff. But, you know, it's still Animal Crossing. It's still, I kind of do it begrudgingly at this point.
Your chores. You do your
I still want to get that last fossil. A lot of kind people online were like, we'll send you the fossil, but I feel like I would feel so defeated if I did that. That said, if people want to send me their art, because now I'm like at the point where I want Mr. Red's art and I just want to fucking complete the art, and I'm like, maybe I'll time travel. I'm at the point where I'm like not loving the game, so I'm like, maybe I will.
One of our villagers just straight up gifted Sam a real painting, like one we didn't have already. So that is a possibility apparently as well. I don't know. They just sent her a gift, and it was just one of the paintings she didn't already have.
Well, the counterpoint to that is I logged in for the first time in a while, and he was there, and I was like, oh, awesome. And all his stuff was counterfeit. So
that's the worst. I know. That's why I'm like.
So I sunk his boat.
They should have Red there every day. I think that's totally fair. This is like the only reason why I'm like, maybe I'll time travel. One, I think I would enjoy the game more, but also I just want the fucking art, and it's going to take me like 4 years at this pace.
Yeah, definitely. Have you done much diving?
Yeah, I've done a lot of diving. But it's like
fun, time consuming.
It's fine. I don't know. It's not like the most interesting thing in the world. I remember it from the 3DS game, and I had a similar feeling of like, yeah, this is fine. It's a new thing, whatever. I don't know. It's a few more fish. I think the best part about them is like some of the fish, similar to like the snapping turtle, like look good when you like place them in the world. So it's fun to have like, oh, I have like seaweed on the beach now, and it's just like a nice item. But
Jeff Bacalar.
Hi.
I have a question for you. So hopefully you can answer this. We'll see. If you can't. So my son now, when he goes on the Switch, he goes to the news section. He's the only person I think in the other, and he reads the news. And now he knows the dates for every game that comes out. And it's like, Dad, June 27th, Paper Mario Origami. So are we getting it or what? I'm like, I don't know. I guess maybe we'll get it. And then today he was like, so it's not during my screen time to get it, but can we just get it? Can we just jump on for a bit? What does he say? Can we pre-purchase it? Because he knows about pre-ordering. As I'm like,
yeah, you can do it right now. We can pre-buy it right now.
I was like, it's a digital game. It'll be available. Well, he's like, how many? And I was like, all of them. He's like, don't worry, we'll have all of them. He's like, you sure? I don't want to miss it.
Is he worried about like a digital game selling out?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's that, and also he just wants it.
Yes. I think it's more the excitement of knowing.
Do you know anything about this game? Do you know if it's a game that an 8-year-old might enjoy?
So I've been playing it, and
thank you. Yeah, there we go.
My 5-year-old, he's not old enough to play it, but he loves it and he loves watching it. We've been doing it for about an hour a day together for about 2 weeks now. It's great. There's only a certain amount that the preview you're allowed to talk about. It's like the first kind of world, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. It is exactly sort of what I wanted out of I guess this feels like a sequel to that the Wii one that what was it called?
Is that 1,000-Year Door or no?
1,000-Year Door, is that which one it was?
That's like the only good one, right?
It was like Super Paper Mario, I think it's called.
I'm not good with the names. I don't remember the names, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, the Wii one is the one that I'm thinking of. It's super cute. It's funny. It's definitely made me, chuckle out loud a number of times. It's but it is that same sort of like turn-based wave battle encountering thing that they kind of did in that first Paper Mario game that I remember playing so well. But yeah, it is not as platformy as maybe I was hoping. At least the stuff that I've played, it's much more like adventure-y and sort of collecting things and bringing things back. And yeah, I mean, you kind of know what you're gonna get. Obviously, the whole theme around this one is origami stuff. So you basically can collect all this confetti in the world, and you come to find that there's parts of this paper world that have been ripped apart inexplicably, and you use your Mario has this amazing animation where he just like throws confetti in the air, and that's by far the best part of this game.
And he fixes the world like that.
He's just like ta-cha, and like all this.
Just Rip Taylor, just
yeah, he's Rip Taylor.
Okay.
Yes, that is who he is in this game, and he fixes up all the holes, and it's great. The combat, or at least like the turn-based sort of stuff early on especially is like super easy. So I felt a little kind of bored by that out of the gate, but the game definitely does enough where I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun probably till the end. So I'm looking forward to getting it all the way through.
I sometimes get the Paper Mario and the was it All Stars RPG one? That was
I sometimes those are separate.
So the Paper Mario stuff, is it the one where you go on the stage and then it's timing based where it'd be like, now do your attack, and if you hit A at the right time, you do okay.
Yeah, so they reward timing, and you get more hit points if you sort of do this rhythmic attack sequence. What they do in this game is they call them wave battles, and everything is all the enemies are basically on this multi-layered sort of like dish, and you can turn the set pieces in this little stage so that you essentially line up enemies. So if you've got like 4 Goombas you're facing off against and they're staggered, the game will give you a certain amount of turns where you can physically turn the world so that all the Goombas either line up in a straight line, which allows you to use your boots as a weapon, or if you lock them up in a sort of like rectangular shape and then you can use a hammer. Obviously you get more weapons and all that kind of stuff, but it's fun, man.
Cool.
It's the style's really great. Like I said, I've laughed. Like, the writing is pretty good. It's very self-aware, which I feel like a lot of these Mario games have become in the last 5 years, or more so, in a way that is really kind of fun to see. So, yeah, I'm super into it. It's exactly, I'll say this, like I am very much getting what I expected. Nothing more, nothing less. So that so I think like it's going to be fun to play for a nice like summer game. But yeah,
I think it's been long enough. It's been long enough for me that I'm finally ready to dig into a Paper Mario. Like, I skipped the last few because they did not necessarily review very well, and I kind of felt like I'd gotten out of that series what I wanted. But maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for another one.
Yeah, I think with the last Paper Mario, it got real wacky towards the end. Like, do you guys
did you finish it? No, I
didn't play it.
I haven't played
it. I
it.
finished it, but I definitely remember.
Is that Sticker Shock? Sticker Blast?
Sticker something?
Yeah, something.
I don't know. All these. Why? Yeah, I don't know why these all blur together.
I'm really bad with the Paper Mario series.
Yeah, and I might not even be thinking of the sticker one. I think I'm still thinking of the Wii one or whatever.
Super.
Okay.
Anyway, I haven't seen like any evidence that this game sort of goes off the rails in that way, but I'm digging it, and it just in the same way that my kid kind of like hung on every new room you entered in Luigi's Mansion. He's very much like, he'll wake up and be like, Dad, there's these paper Goombas that we got to go get because they're chomping the carnival. And we got to go repair that. And he's right. He's right. We gotta. So it's been a good time for sure. I'm playing 2. Well,
that's Paper Mario, the Origami King. It's out next week. It's July 17th, right? I'm pretty sure that's the release date.
Yeah, the embargo.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think the embargo might be the day or two before. Okay. I'll have a video for that. I'll also have a video for Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm also playing.
Which you can't talk about though yet, huh?
That's one of my embargo ones.
And I think we probably share another embargo game that it'll be the first time I'm playing a demo of a game over the internet. Like,
interesting.
This demo is happening where the publisher is like, hey, download this piece of software. We're gonna set you up for a session, and you're gonna play this game
Stadia style.
Yes. I also did that.
Yeah, how did that go for you? Without talking about the game, like, how did that go for you?
I can talk about that real quick. So yeah, the way the demos were very carefully and very well talking around here. The way it was done was through a program called Parsec, which is, I don't know, I had never heard of it before this, but I guess it is designed, for you to be able to share gaming over relatively low latency speeds. And I will say, from my experience, like, there were little bits of artifacting and lag here and there, but by and large, it was a pretty seamless experience. It was about the level of quality I expected from a streamed video game over the internet. And like, the input lag was negligible enough, at least in the genre games we were playing. Like, I don't know how well it worked for like a fighting game or something.
But you also had somebody hosting pretty near to you, right?
Well, so they had servers set up in different places, and then I think the host was connecting to that machine.
Yeah. Okay.
So
they
I don't know.
Geography too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that
so
was part of the process. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was East Coast at least, and I found the experience relatively seamless. Like, it's not perfect, and it certainly doesn't replicate the experience of sitting in front of a screen that is just like running the game natively. But if this is the new normal, it's not bad. Like, if this is what we have to deal with for now, it's a completely serviceable solution.
Gross.
And let me tell you something, that this is what it's gonna be. I mean,
because it's really good to have it under control. There's no way any of that footage would ever leak.
Well, look,
It'll never happen.
Look, that's you're right. That's a risk you got to take, I guess. But is that, I don't know.
It's better than a build leaking. You're right.
So yes, but the funniest thing is the person who started Parsec, I was on a panel with like 2 or 3 years ago at CES, and I think I don't know if it was recorded, but I'm paraphrasing here. The line, there was a line that came out of this guy's mouth where it was like, look, let's say we're in a situation where none of us can leave the home. your company would be really great for that. And 2 years later, here we are. So,
well, that's very funny. Somebody had mentioned Parsec to me a while ago. Somebody from GameSpot, because we have to sometimes share video across the country and have it be low latency for people to see, and they recommended that. But you do have to install a client on your end, right? You do have to.
Yes.
I think you can also access it through the web.
You can. Okay. So that's one of the things, like, we have a lot of people here, and there's different levels of comfort for installing, rightfully so, different things on their machines that allow people to have access to those things or not. And I didn't take the time to vet Parsec and see if there are any security issues or anything like that.
I've never used it. I just signed up for it. I don't know if they used Parsec for Cyberpunk, but that Cyberpunk demos were obviously conducted in the same way of like streaming. But I don't know if you've covered this completely, Alex. Did you see? It's basically a virtual desktop where where you have a thing like Stadia that's like, it's not one-to-one the same kind of thing exactly, but
no, it's not.
Yeah, but the way I believe Parsec was originally incepted was to be a virtual kind of desktop for someone who can't afford, like an RTX, 2080 or whatever. So what else?
So I'll just say, unrelated to that, totally, completely unrelated. Take a pause. This Sunday, we're going to be covering the Ubisoft, press conference. They're going to have, just before I forget, they're going to have their press conference on Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, 3 o'clock
Totally
Eastern.
Unrelated.
Sunday. Totally unrelated. Can't wait to see what they're going to show there. Can't wait to see what they're going to say, hear what they're going to say, see what they're going to show.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a dog in the race, so whatever.
Are you doing anything with it, Jeff? Are you
what?
Are you guys doing streaming it out on CNET?
That'd be news to me if we are.
You seem like insulted. I asked you.
No, not at all.
Right.
The only thing I know I'm doing in the immediate future is the Xbox stream.
Right, which is
2 weeks from today. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
3. Huh? It's
Third
3
base.
weeks. No. What is it? The 23rd? I thought it was the 23rd.
27th? I think I wrote it
It's
down.
the 23rd. 2 weeks from today.
Okay.
2 weeks from today. So
Okay.
we probably have to reschedule this podcast.
Yes, we do. Actually, we'll probably wind up. Honestly, we'll probably do this one on Friday. Again, like we did for something else. Something else happened? EA?
That was for Sony. Sony.
EA did. Yes, EA did happen. It has been erased from memory, but it did happen.
All right, Jeff, I'm sorry. Anything else? So yeah, tune in if you're watching this on Sunday. We will be streaming live, us talking over the Ubisoft thing. Jeff, anything else? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm going to forget to announce that.
No, I think that's it in terms of what I've actually been playing. Just still can't break the chain between myself and Warzone. I'm still in it.
Great.
Little more multiplayer than Warzone these days, but yeah.
The game is hard. Warzone's hard. The map is too big.
I'm playing with people who play so much. We just looked at all the hours, and the person in my clan is like 350 hours, and I'm like at 48. And these guys play so much now that whenever I jump in with them, if they don't like what's happening in the first like 7 minutes, they pull everyone out.
What?
I'm just like,
of the
you
match?
guys are the worst. Yeah,
Oh,
you guys are the worst.
Or
You
the
guys are
best. I need to play in those
Doesn't that,
servers where I just get to number 1 by just hanging out.
by just
Doesn't that
sitting
ruin
around.
their like
Default.
Don't they get like bad marks, like demerits for doing that on their
I don't
accounts?
think so. I am very vocal about how much I think that behavior sucks anytime that happens. But look, that's maybe I just need new friends. I don't know.
They just want that victory, huh? They don't even want to be underdogs. I feel like if you're really good, you just want to come back.
And like I don't say this to them, and they don't listen to this podcast. I don't even know if they. I don't even know if they know I do a podcast. But
I want to hear it.
they suck. Like their strategy is dog shit.
Well, it's not getting a helicopter and just
one
stay
of
above the sky.
Well, that used to be the strategy, but now like so whenever we play in fours, one of them just goes and he's like, I'm a rogue motherfucker. I'm gonna go do this. And like he dies within 6 minutes. And he's always like, guys, I'm in the gulag. Guys, I'm in the gulag. We're like, no shit, you're in the gulag, Adam.
You're tearing him apart. You just said his name. Wow, you're just going.
Oh, there's a bunch of
honestly relatable.
Yeah, so. And it's annoying, and there's no strategy, and then they just yell at each other the whole time. Why aren't you marking that guy? What is going on?
These are the people you play with all the time.
I mean, they're like they're nice people, except in Warzone. They're bad people in Warzone.
Video games bring the worst out in people, shooters especially.
Yeah,
Alex hit it on the head there. It's true. I've known some of them for like 30 years, and I'm
just amazed that you keep being like, oh, I love Warzone, playing it all the time, got this great crew, and now you're talking about them, and you're like, they fucking suck ass. They're not even good at the game. They quit all the time. I hate them.
Adam just chews me out.
Adam is bad.
We've won like 5 times. We've won like 5. I've won 5 times. Some of them have won like
not a lot.
It's okay. Some of them have won like 25, 30 times. I mean, you play that much, odds are you're gonna fucking, back into a win every now and then. But but like, yes, it's real bad, and we all like. There's a lot of yelling. I don't really participate. I'm just sort of like I'm having fun. But the vast majority of it is laughing, and that's where it really comes. It's just the laughing.
You think Adam's laughing when he gets yelled at?
Yeah, he's laughing because even though we're just like, oh, Adam, you're such an idiot. Why can't you just stay with us? Again, it's always like, ha ha, we're all laughing. Whatever. I'm like, we're all like, none of this matters. Whatever.
Adam, your mic's been muted for a long time. You okay? Yeah. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. You know what? I'm gonna go, guys. I think. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go. You guys have fun. I'm gonna go. Thanks for the games.
It's been real. Do
you guys? What do you do? Okay, here's a kind of related question, but you're in a group chat on PS4.
Yeah.
You know you're in the thing. You know you're about to all sign off. Are you like prepped and ready so that when you say goodbye, you're yanking the cord?
Oh no,
I
haven't
finger on the button on my headphone set of like, yep, talk to you later. Immediately turn it off. Like, I do not want to hear anybody be like, oh, and then clicking buttons. If you are not the first one out of there, you have lost.
If you've lost,
So
just like the stumbling through, mic wobble, like
like you can always hear the one or two people who weren't prepared, and it is always like a little bit like, oh,
yeah, I wasn't quite ready. I have like the go to sleep thing already. Be like.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
hit X. Just gotta hit X.
See you guys. Thanks a lot for the game. Had a really good time. Thanks.
Yeah.
I would like yank the power out of the
Before I
PS4.
even say goodbye, I'm cranking that thing off.
And I'm always the first to leave because, like I said, these monsters play way too much. So I'm just like, I'm gonna go to bed or I'm gonna go watch a show. And yeah, you just hover on that rest mode. I got the X button ready to go, baby.
I do love though.
Good night, guys. Boop.
I do love sometimes with just sticking around though, watching everybody try to filter
hear,
out.
like,
just like somebody starts talking to somebody else in the room because they think that since they said goodbye that like the world ended and like the connection's cut. Be like, yeah, I told you I'd be done. I'm just gonna get up, and then like they're they're all, it's so. Oh man, that's fun. That's a fun thing. All right, should we take a break and we'll come back with some news? Everybody got the game stuff out of their systems here. Tune in hopefully on Friday if we do some more Minecraft stuff. I did download that texture pack, and I'm debating whether or not I like it. So we'll see for Minecraft. It changes that game in interesting ways. We're gonna take a quick break. Let me get this all queued up here so we can take our break. I'll play the music. I'm not gonna forget to do that. Here we go, folks. We're going to take about 5 minutes, and then we'll be back with some video game news. Here we go. Hello, everybody. We are back. And it's time for the news of this show. I have some news here. I pulled a couple of little stories here. I'm going to start with one I thought was fun, cute. I'm going to call this a cute little story in the video game news milieu. You remember HQ, that trivia game with the host? Was a host Scott? Scott was
Scott Rogowski or something.
That's the person from Monsters Inc., isn't it? That's
Is it also HQ? HQ host.
Scott.
What? Scott Rogowski.
Okay, sure. I'll buy it. Mike Wachowski.
Mike Wachowski.
Mike Wachowski.
No, it's Mike Wazowski.
Mike Wazowski.
Balky.
That's Balky Bartokamus. That's right. That's what I meant to say.
Yes, that's who I was speaking of.
Okay, always. Boy, I bet that show's aged well. Here we go. Tetris has their own HQ looking kind of thing. It is called Tetris, and it is on the mobile devices, your iPhone, your Android device. So there's a Tetris mobile game, or I guess this was out already. Mobile app. Yeah.
Of course there is.
Of course there is. I guess the question would be, which one am I talking about?
Right. Which one are you talking about?
Well, I don't know because it's called Tetris. But there's a new thing called Tetris Prime Time. Are you ready for the Tetris Prime Time? You will be playing in kind of designated hub locations, and that means like kind of geographical silos, right? So if you're close to on the East Coast, you might hub around New York and play against people in that time zone. Does that make sense? And you'll play. So the thing would start at 7:30 local time for everybody in that group, right? If you're playing in New Zealand, you'd play against people at 7:30 p.m. in that group over there in New Zealand, and you'd kind of play against each other for prizes, for cash prizes, apparently on Tetris Prime Time. And there's like a video that you can watch of the trailer. It's got a host. It looks very HQ. I'm not super great at Tetris 99. I was never great at the multiplayer stuff, the battle stuff, any of that stuff. So I don't know if I want to play competitive Tetris, but I'll watch some video recaps of people playing it, I guess. I'm not going to download this app, so no, I won't. But, maybe if somebody wants to share it on YouTube or something, I'd watch it there. Anyway, the app is free. You can find out more about this. Tetris Prime Time is what you want to look up. Interesting. Sure. Right? The timing's probably right. I bet if HQ had come out during this, when everybody's home at hours, not having to jump on during work or something like that, I bet the story would probably be the same. It'd be very popular for a little while.
I don't know. HQ, the same. Yes.
Yeah, the same.
HQ was very popular.
That's what I say. It'd probably be the same. Very popular, and then kind of peter out and get really weird and kind of like, is everybody okay here? Is people being paid? I don't know what's happening. So yeah, I don't know. It'd probably have gone the exact same way.
The crazy thing about HQ is like, it kind of didn't work. Like it worked, but it also didn't work. Remember, there was like a huge part of that where like shit was just like all on the fritz.
Oh yeah, the servers would break. Like bad shit happened in that.
That wasn't great.
Time.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Well, I feel like because we played it, we were in there when it was like 5,000 people in there, and it was like, oh, you actually kind of have a chance of winning, and then it was like 6 million every time, and it was like, well, we're fucked, and I kind of stopped playing it.
I only saw it like once or twice, but I liked the idea. I love the concept was very interesting to me.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of mobile stuff, so it's Tetris Primetime. Crash Bandicoot has a new game coming out, and I'm not just talking about that Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time, which is coming out Xbox One and PS4, I believe. Yes, that is right. Because the date's weird. That's October 2nd on that? Huh. I thought it was closer. Anyway, October 2nd, Crash Bandicoot 4, the full release. Crash Bandicoot, but there's also a mobile game, a runner Crash Bandicoot from the makers of Candy Crush Saga, or at least the publishers. You know them as King. You might know them as what company got a lot of money. They're going to put out this Crash Bandicoot runner game on your mobile devices if you're interested on that. I haven't been playing mobile stuff much at all recently.
I can't remember the last cell phone game I actually downloaded or played that wasn't just one that's been on my phone for 5 years.
Yeah,
same.
Yeah, nothing new.
The last one was probably that. What was that scary game that we played, Vinny? Do you remember that? You played it, I think, on the computer. I got it from my phone, where it was like you're investigating a woman's phone.
Oh yeah. Simulacrum. Was it?
I don't remember.
Simulacrum.
Simulacra 2. Yes.
Yeah, that was.
I think it was Simulacra 2.
That's a fun.
Hold down.
Yeah, that was all right. I never finished it, but
Hold Down
is the last one that I downloaded and played. That was new.
Which one's Hold? Oh, Hold Down.
Yeah.
I do remember Hold Down. Yes.
Dan Reichert's Hold Down.
No release date for that Crash mobile game. All right. I think that's the end of the mobile news. There is or maybe not, if you consider this mobile. Sega's got a new mini console. Does anybody remember, or is anybody familiar with the Astro City cabinet? There's a cabinet. They're making one of those little tiny retro cabinets, arcade cabinets. Very small. When I say, because when I say small, they have like the half height ones. This is like a little tiny tabletop thing. And it's got a bunch of old games in it, kind of similar to that Neo Geo Mini arcade thing. But Alien Syndrome, Alien Storm, Golden Axe, The Revenge of Death Adder, Columns 2, Dark Edge, Puzzle and Action Tant-R. I don't know if I know that one. Virtua Fighter, Fantasy Zone, and Altered Beasts. It's
finally,
it's releasing in Japan for about $120 US, and it is not 100% clear, according to this article on Polygon. It does seem like a bit. I mean, it is a hardware thing, so I don't know. It does seem like a lot, though. You're not wrong, Abby.
But this feels like a novelty. Like, I'm gonna put this in your stocking on Christmas. It's $40.
Well, $40 for a stocking thing. That's getting up there.
Yes, I agree.
Six buttons on the face or on the console cabinet. And
I'm looking at this now, and I have seen this cabinet before. I just don't think I ever actually knew what it was called.
No, I didn't either. But yes, if you've been to Japanese arcades, you've probably seen this. Anyway, unclear if it's coming to the Western markets, but interesting. Sure.
Gotta put something out.
I worry I don't have the fingers for this.
It does seem teeny tiny.
Get a load of Ain't Got the Fingers.
What is this? An arcade machine for ants?
No, I think these are probably full size. That's probably full size. I don't know.
Full size.
That's probably full size. What is this? What is that? Okay, nobody knows.
My hands are too big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like this. Abby.
Yes.
Abby,
I know what's coming.
Abby, what is esports, Abby?
Guys, the news is true. I'm gonna be on a television show for The Sims. Actually, it's not
you
true.
And St. Vincent
I won't be on
together.
It. I know. Yeah.
And hosted by
we
Bjork.
are the dream team in The Sims. Yeah, crazy, right? They are making a Sims show called Sparked on TBS. Some kind of competition show. I don't know.
I don't know.
What I will say about it is I both desperately want to be on it a lot, and also the preview seems really saccharine in a way that I'm like, oh, I would do terribly on this. Like at one point in the preview, so the whole premise, it's not super clear, but like there are competitions with the Sims, and I would think that'd mean like, okay, who can like kill the Sim the fastest or something, something fun. But it seems like it's like, okay, let's like write a narrative and like have our Sims live out this narrative. And like they show like the judges like crying and be like, oh my God, I've lost someone too. And it's just like, oh, fuck off.
Wait,
it's The Sims.
So it's basically like competitive machinima?
I don't know what machinima is.
It's basically like when you make story content using like game engines or like things like that, like creative.
That's like what The Sims is,
right?
But I also think for me, like I think it's more funny to I don't know. The Sims 4 especially is like it's easy to get exactly what you want out of it for the most part. Like yes, that's why you do these like 100 baby challenges or whatever to like add some chaos. But like if you just want to have a Sim like get married and like have a baby and like I don't know, kill off the husband or something, like that's easy to do. It's not like the Sim where like try to like marry somebody and they can like leave you at the altar.
You should make a super cut of 13 Deadly Sims and submit it as your application reel and say, look at this. You want a narrative? You want some drama? You want story? Look at the size of this toilet.
What I'm going to do is I am going to edit 13 Deadly Sims in as the most heartfelt and saccharine thing in the world. So when they see it, it's like all the Sims dying and maybe like, look, we've all lost someone. As like Ben gets eaten by like a cow plant.
It's just a real. You should fade out on a really slow down, so it just is like 1 frame per minute shot of me sinking in that pool. As you're just kind of
that one was upsetting.
Just kind of
my mom still talks about that one.
Slow fade out after the music ends, and it just you want some gurgling. There's some gurgling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's I don't know what to say. Sparked, SPARK''D. Spark.
My thing is like there is so much really excellent Sims content on YouTube. I am intrigued to see how they make it interesting for a TV show, reality TV show. There are Sim streamers on it that I like. Plumbella's on it. I think she's cool. I think another one is the English Simmer who I recognize. I don't really watch her stuff quite as much. And a bunch of other people I did not know. Anyway, please let me on season 2. I will write as many sob stories as you want me to. I will cause so much drama with the other Simmers. I will do whatever you want me to do on TV. I'm willing to sacrifice my morals.
You're not here to make friends. You're here to make Sims.
Exactly. Yes, Vinny, you get it.
The 4-episode long series starts July 17th, and that's when the Mario game comes out at 11 p.m. Eastern. Great time slot. So I don't know anything about TV programming. Maybe it is. 4 episodes long starting July 7th, 11 p.m. What is it, TBS? TBS.
TBS.
Sure. Do we own that one? That's not one.
No.
Okay.
That's
Does a different company?
It's like airing on real TV too. It's also weird to think that like shows are still premiering on real television, not like a streaming service.
No, yeah, that is a little weird, right? Like especially a 4-episode thing that they then have to swap out with something else, or they just run the reruns.
Yeah, why wouldn't they put that on YouTube where like all of these people's audiences are? Oh, it looks like they are on YouTube. BuzzFeed Multiplayer.
Summer TV is always a complete fucking dead zone. So actually it kind of makes sense that they would throw this out there now because they have nothing else, literally nothing else to put on the air.
There'll be in-game events for viewers, and the top contestants in that will be considered to go on a future season.
Oh, exciting.
Here's Abby. Here's what's going to happen. That's at the bottom of this Polygon article. Abby, here's what's going to happen, and you're going to hate it, but I'm afraid this is how it's going to go. You're gonna try and do it. You're gonna do it for real, and you're going to be very
I'll make a
earnest about
feature out of it. Yeah.
You're just going to try it for real. Because you're the most deserving of anyone I know to be on this thing, and Dan Reichert's going to get on it. Dan is gonna,
as it is written.
Dan
Don't you even.
Dan
and the whole time he's gonna be like, "Where are the walls? Where are the walls? This the game doesn't have any walls." I'm
in this toilet. Look at this. And then he's gonna get on it and be like, "I don't even like this game," and then he will win it.
And then they'll win it, yeah.
All right, that is all I have for news. More news.
More news?
More news.
More news.
Is there more news? What's up with this Sony thing that's happening?
So this just broke. But yeah, Sony has thrown in a $250 million investment in Epic Games. This is not enough to, buy the company or anything, certainly, but it is enough to give them a minority stake in Epic.
Wait, is it really?
Well, it's a minority stake.
Yes. All right, a very little stake. I was going to say they must have money.
$20 is a minority stake.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's a significant investment. But I mean, Gene Park from the Washington Post pointed this out when talking about the story, which is that the Fortnite's April revenue was like 400 million. So, like, it obviously this is not necessarily
April
like,
revenue.
Yeah, this is obviously not like
for
a
the month.
huge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is not a huge investment, but it is enough to say that like Sony has a significant stake in Epic. It's not enough to say they're going to have like huge influence on decision making there necessarily, but it is, it's them shoring up an investment in a company that makes, stuff that is very popular and very useful for the PlayStation platform.
This says gets them a seat at the table, maybe like in the same restaurant.
This says this article says that so far they have raised new money $1.8 billion. That's so much money. It's so much.
Give me some of it.
Give
me the 0.8 part of it.
How do you? Yeah. Okay. That's it's to have raised. Why do you even need to raise that money? Just to sell more skins? What's going on over there? Is there a money hole somewhere where it's just like we put the money behind the wall, it disappears. We got to raise more money. I don't know how businesses work. I'm sure it's probably necessary, but man, that's a lot of money.
I mean, one thing we know is that Tim Sweeney is not spending that money on furniture.
Wait, how do we know that? Wait, what is there?
There was a stream he did or something he did a couple weeks ago where he was like broadcasting from what looked like this attic room that had like I think there was like a lava lamp or something in the background on the floor, and otherwise it was carpet and wall, just bare. It was like, all right,
I love that.
Well, living that fucking Neil McCauley from Heat life. Just
you're thinking about
anything you can't walk out on 30 seconds if you see the heat spot around the corner.
You're thinking of it the wrong way. It was because 5 minutes before that stream, that shot was that lava lamp sitting on piles of raw money just stacked, and somebody was like, "You can't just. You're sitting on money. You have a lamp on money. You can't show this. You'll send the wrong impression." Well, what do you want me to do? Get the money out of the shot. Put the lamp on the floor. I don't care. There's no way. $1.8 billion. How do you spend $1.8 billion?
It's not a person. It's a company.
Companies are people too, my friend.
And you could
corporations are people too. Yeah.
Yeah, legally speaking, they are.
You could spend $1 billion.
I could spend $1 billion.
Yeah.
Vinster's Billions.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeff, let's co-write our Brewster's Billions remake, and let's somehow make it age even more poorly than Brewster's Millions has already aged.
All right.
I don't think it's possible. All right. Well, Sony getting in on some of that epic money. There you go. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, just one a follow up on a story from last week. We talked about the president of CEO, president of Evo, had been accused of multiple counts of misconduct over the years. So Evo Online is officially canceled for this year, and the Evo organization is currently in process of completely separating themselves from Joey Queller. So not much to update on that other than to say the event is just done for this year, and it remains to be seen where Evo goes from here. I mean, I'd like to think that the at the very least, the concept of a big American worldwide fighting game tournament, can be salvaged, and maybe Evo itself can be, but I don't know. And I don't think anyone knows at this point, but all we know is that there will not be one this year.
Yeah. And Ben was doing over here on the site was doing his fighting game stuff, and I was curious to see how that went. So it's some pretty heinous stuff.
Not this year.
in that allegation. All right, is that the end of the news?
That's all I had.
That's kind of all I had too. What's up,
right.
Bacalar? How's pinball?
No, pinball's great. I'm gonna do. I think we're gonna start on Jurassic Park on Friday.
Whoa!
On Sunday,
How many machines are you getting?
15.
Wait, do you have a Jurassic Park machine in your house?
I have a Jurassic Park. Yeah.
How is
Is
this
that real? 15?
How is this happening?
It is happening through delivery vehicles. And
Can you have one of them deliver one to me?
No,
I have some space over here.
You've even
Look, I
said you're like,
can fit all this. I can make it work.
This is why Jeff had the
day.
answer to how do you spend $1 billion? It's get 15 pinball machines, and then
nah,
that's pretty
you
much
wouldn't even
soaks it
make
up.
a dent in that.
Yeah, you would actually only be able to get 7 with that kind of money.
That's right. Yeah. Wow. Wait, does that mean you have like 4 pinball machines in your house, or will have?
Yes.
Holy cow, dude!
What the fuck?
That's an
Give me
arcade.
one
That's
now. I'll
officially an
take pinball.
arcade.
I have. Yeah. Well, that's why this
Jeff.
quarantine's been going so
Okay,
well
okay.
for me.
Jeff, I have a compromise for you.
What's up?
Since you won't give me one of your pinball machines, why don't you
It's not like
drive
I'm gonna
out to
give it to
Brooklyn
you,
in
and I
your
gotta give 'em
car
back at
and then
some
take
point.
me back?
Huh?
And then take me to
Pick up
Jersey
Abby
and I'll play your machine.
so she can go to your
Go pick me
arcade.
up.
Abby.
Then we can do a barbecue at your place and play some arcade games. I'll
The
bring
only
little to
problem-
nothing.
Yeah. The only problem I have with
You
this
need to
story
provide
is
the
that
food
it
and the
doesn't-
fun.
Is that it doesn't help you out enough.
I'll give you like $15 for gas. I agree. You can give me cash once you get here.
$15.
That's not
For
even
gas.
that's not even the bridge toll. What is the George Washington Bridge? Like $25 at this point, isn't
It's
it?
like if I were to drive to where do you live? Brooklyn, Queens? I forget.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
It's,
Damn.
yeah, it cost like $30 in tolls to get it out there.
Okay, well I'm paying for half.
so
half
thanks,
for
so
you, half
thanks.
for me.
That's right. That's nice. I paid my half. So
but,
wait, no, seriously, like,
but no, but
serious question.
seriously
Do not talk. I have to have the answer to this. I've been to your house. How do you fit 4 pinball machines?
What do you mean you've been to my house?
I've been to your house.
Like,
Well, you have seen your space. Where are they?
Vinny, the moment he got to your house, Jeff, Vinny was texting me about how you live in squalor, how it's so
Can't
small
believe it. Wow.
that no pinball machines would ever
Never.
fit. He was just texting up a storm the second he got there.
I mean, the part Jeff's not telling you is that Jeff's wife now sleeps in the garage.
There's just a mattress on the pinball machine.
She sleeps under Funhouse.
Is it in that? Is it in that room that you had Funhouse? Is it in that same spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have to get rid of your
that,
Hot Toys cabinet?
Yeah. So that's in a different room now. We call it the pinball room now.
Of course, of course. What else are you gonna call it?
But look, like I've been lucky enough to have a lot of this stuff, gifted or on loan, and I feel like
gifted.
Huh?
Gifted.
Well, I one of them I have indefinitely.
Cool.
Thanks to,
you are a pinball influencer now. I have nothing but respect for this.
A pinfluencer.
I got it first.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yes.
And,
I love it, Jeff. I can't wait for you to come pick me up so I can play.
It's just not happening. But also, it sounds like I might be getting a Ninja Turtles at some point.
Great. I can't wait to play it with you.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Can you get an Elvira machine?
They're all in that one room, and I think we figured it out. I mean, it's cool, especially for like this moment where like no one's coming over. And we're just in this like situation right now where it's like, hey, why not have like 4 pinball machines in a house?
So here's the Abby. I'm going to let you in on an arcade cabinet secret.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
It's also a lot of work too. The
thing is usually like, here's what happens. You got a bunch of arcade machines because you think you want them, and then you realize, I don't actually want these, but I paid money for these. But if somebody else could just put this in their house and I still own it, but it's basically they get to hold on to it for in an indefinite future. That would be a great deal. So then people go, Jeff, do you want this pinball machine? Listen, I'm not using it right now. You can have it for as long as you need. And then basically you have it there. And then when my situation changes in a way that I suddenly don't despise having pinball machines around anymore, then you can give it to me back, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, like, so for Funhouse, that's almost verbatim. Where someone who a fan of our show and a friend of the site, and was like, "Hey, I got this thing. I live in an apartment. I can't really have it right now. What do you say? You have a house. You like pinball,
right?
I mean, what else do you need, right?
You're gonna host Abby,
but it's a lot of work. These things break down. Like even the brand new ones, like I've had to like learn how to solder and like do electrical wiring, and like it's definitely it's not a job, but it's something you gotta it's another plate you gotta spin.
I hear you 100%, which is why I want to come to your house and play.
Right, exactly. You don't want these
I'll take my own. If somebody wanted to send me an Elvira machine, I'm not going to say no.
Dude, there's a newish one that people really dig. So
really? Ooh.
Really?
I bought an arcade cabinet while I had an apartment, and that arcade cabinet stayed in a friend's house for like a year and a half in their garage, and that was I was very thankful. And I was like, I don't have room for this. I don't know why. I bought it. I got sick. I got like a fever. Everybody was buying arcade machines.
My dad bought a Joust machine, and he always kept it at his office. So I feel like, and my uncle, he owns an Elvira machine and keeps it at my grandpa's house. So I assume that nobody keeps any machine that they buy themselves.
That's right. Nobody wants it in their actual house.
Well, the way I understand it is like a lot of people own pinball machines or arcade machines, and they like keep them in arcades or they keep them in bars, and they get a cut of the revenue. But obviously every situation is different. But some people, they work it out where like all they got to do is maintain it once a month or whatever it is, and I'm sure that's how people make money.
Sure, that's definitely one way someone could make money. Why did we talk about this? Oh, because you're Jurassic Park.
So we're gonna do Jurassic Park. So I'm gonna start that on Sunday, and then
I'm free Sunday.
Hopefully at the end of that. All right, this is all about you, Abby. And then after that, hopefully Ninja Turtles will be here. So
for people watching the stream, I was just thinking like, oh, that'd be funny if.
Well, clearly you've never watched my pinball stream.
What?
Huh?
Why are you so angry? Wait, what?
I'm not angry. That's not angry.
Who are you mad at?
This is what pinball does to a person.
I know. I'm so angry. I gotta fix this thing all the time. I was just thinking how funny it would be on this video if suddenly I got up and walked to the right and entered like Abby's frame, like just kind of like walked off of my frame and just walked into your shot, because I was thinking, man, that just looks comfortable in there.
It's real nice in here. It's a little hot. I think you'd find it too hot.
And when you said you were going to go to Jeff's house for the pinball thing, I was like, awesome. I'm going to go to your apartment and stream from there, because that just looks super fun.
Welcome anytime, Vinny.
Thank you.
See how that works, Jeff?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Vinny, are you sure there's not a radon leak in that basement?
No, I'm not. I am absolutely not sure of that. You got your basement tested, right? When you got your house?
Yeah, you have to. It's part of the inspection.
Have to is such a strong word. Should we go into the emails?
Yeah.
All right, let's fade this down to black, and we'll be right back. We're gonna take a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Thanks, everybody. Oh, I almost didn't play the music again. I forgot this last week as well. Here it goes. Here it goes. Here it goes. Watch out.
I don't hear it.
It's not playing, right? No, it's not playing.
This is broken.
Okay.
The podcast is
Should
broken.
I hear it?
It's sometimes I turn the music off, so I can just enjoy it, and then but the people
I saw you bopping along.
Yeah, the people in the audio recording are now going to hear it in the audio recording, because it goes on there, but now the people in the video get to hear it as well. So it's a fun little treat.
Okay,
Here we
cool.
go. They get to hear it twice. Here we go. Here's
Don't edit any of this.
Nope, this all stays in. All right, we are back, and it is now time for emails. If you've got an email, send them into beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. Abby Russell, you've gone through these emails, and what have you found for us today?
Okay, we actually had a couple emails about this. Not sure what y'all talked about last week, but Alex, will you read this one from Eric, please?
Totally. Eric says, at the end of last week's Beastcast, Alex made a joke about a pull-string Vinny doll.
Yeah.
That got me thinking. If you were to make a pull-string doll for each member of the Beastcast, what would each person's 3 or 4 phrases be that come out when the string is pulled? I'm assuming that these would be words or phrases that you say often, but I guess that could really be anything that you want it to be.
Well,
I feel like we have to do each other, right? I don't know what I say.
I think we could do our own too, but
okay.
I think we should do them for each other as well.
Bacalar says, he says fantastic. Right?
Yeah.
Jeff, you love that one, huh?
Yeah, it says that.
He just said there's one where he just goes pinball, pinball, pinball.
It's an oldie but a goodie, I guess.
Then another one where you pull the string and he goes, "Where's my hockey stick?"
Let's just do Bacalar. That's it. Everybody breathes.
Yeah, but like you guys,
another one.
You guys kind of suck because I don't say where's my.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
He doesn't.
Another one. When you pull Jeff's string, he tries to make a joke at against us, to dunk on us, and then there's just dead silence at the end of it.
Yep. Whereas there's rapturous applause after the other things he says.
How's that come out of a pull string doll?
So they figured out the tech.
They got the technology before.
All right, that's
so
it.
What
Thanks
are you
for
saying?
the email. No, that's it. We just do Jeff. That's the whole thing.
We're saying that we love you, Jeff.
Alex,
you would say you would do the wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And it goes on for 4.5 minutes.
Yes. Yes.
That's every time you keep pulling, it's just more of the wow.
Okay. The only one I would say for myself is that I kind of want one that's like the Krusty the Clown doll where you pull the thing and he just goes,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And then once you get that one, it just does that 9 more times in a row every time.
That's pretty good.
I don't
Anything else?
I don't have
Vinny.
Yes.
Any other phrases for me?
You would pull on Vinny's cord. You'd hear wood banging in the background, and then ow, my finger.
Okay. I smashed my finger with a hammer. I like it.
There's one where he just
fully involved in that one. But.
There's another one where he just names Transformers for an hour.
It's a long string.
This one's Optimus Prime.
Mine would be Bumblebee. You pull the cord and it goes, what's the name of that guy who was in that movie? That was he was in that movie.
The guy in the place, the thing.
He was in another movie with another guy, and he was married to that woman who was in another movie, and she sang in a band. Let's start back there. And it would be very different each time. It's actually a very fun doll. Abby, yours would be you would say, oh my God, Bjork! Every time you pull it. Yes.
I like the idea that if you pull mine, I'm meeting Bjork.
Yes, I would, but it would be like an hour and a half long narrative. You just keep pulling it. It'd be like, where are we going, Bjork?
Did you guys know about her album?
Yeah. Where are we headed? Bjork, is this your car?
You wrote this album, and this song is incredible. Bjork, that one movie you did with your ex-husband. It's weird, but I enjoyed it.
Bjork, I've never been to this restaurant. Bjork, I'll order for us.
I do feel like there needs to be one Abby one where it's just her saying, "Hey yo."
Hey-o.
Okay.
There it is.
Or just something that says I like this idea, but how does it benefit me?
That was rude, but you're not wrong.
Also, could all of Abby's be in Simlish somehow?
No, that's you got to charge for that. Yeah. Okay. Good. How about one where you just pull the string on the back of mine, and it goes. I ate too much because I'm an idiot, and then the belly just grows bigger. It's just the whole thing just inflates, and it comes with some accessories like pizza boxes.
Of course, empty pizza box. Also, I hear that you don't put your pizza in the fridge afterwards.
No, I didn't say that. That would no. You're mishearing. You're listening.
I don't know. That's what all the emails are saying. Vinny's so right. You leave the pizza out on the counter for 4 days. I
am saying if the pizza is out the next morning. It's fine. Just take a slice.
No, see, you're already walking it back, man.
No, I said if the pizza is fine to eat leftover night pizza, It is fine to eat cold pizza.
Yeah, it's.
I'm saying if you're not feeling
fine.
if you're not,
I try not to eat some counter pizza though. I don't trust the counter pizza. Put it in the fridge.
Game. It's a dangerous sport.
If you're not,
counter pizza is never the first pizza I will go to if there is fridge pizza, but one day, one morning, again, a certain limited amount of time between when you passed out drunk and when you woke up, it's acceptable.
You're okay.
We've all dabbled with counter pizza.
Of course we have. We've all experimented. We've all come in college, except me.
TM Dolomite on chat said that your pull cord will say, "It's fine, take a slice."
That's right, and then the head falls off.
Just take a slice.
Sign this waiver.
Shall we do the next email?
Next email.
Jeff, will you read this one from Jarvis?
I'm sorry. Either I'm cutting
out
for you guys, or you guys.
No, it's
It sounds okay.
Is it my mic thing doing it?
No, it sounds okay to me.
No, Abby, you're fine to me.
Oh, so it's just
okay.
me.
I'm blaming Jeff for this one.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Which from who am I reading?
Jarvis.
Got it. Jeff's comment about PS4 controller drift got me thinking about some of my controller deficiencies over time. Which game did you find did the most damage to your controller? Mario Party is an obvious culprit, so let's move past it. I remember something like button mashing something in like the original PlayStation era, where I would basically got to the point where I would take a controller and just go like
the rub,
like the rub to the point where you flatten the buttons where they have no more like give, and you just have like a mush button. That sucks. I definitely did that to a PlayStation controller.
I don't think I've ever destroyed a controller. I think the only time I have is when we've had like dogs that have gotten a hold of them. But I'm pretty delicate with my electronics, I feel like.
Have any of your controllers had drift, where it just is like, like, has your Switch had any problems with the controllers?
No.
Oh, nice. Good. Lucky.
No. No.
I have my analog sticks will get drift on them. Sometimes watching the kids now with the controller is tough, as they just slam the left and right sticks, like jam to the side. They'll use the top of their palms, and it's just like, oh man. Or they'll just be like, it sounds so dad, but like they'll keep their controller on the couch and then like jump on the couch, and the controller just flies up and smashes on the ground, and being like, I'm buying my own controllers. I'm going to make sure they're all like a different color, all red. And these are, so I bought like a red PS4 controller and stuff like that. And I'm putting these over here. And my wife was like, you can't have your own controllers. I'm like, I'm having my own controllers.
I think that's fair.
And because
kids are so dirty, icky too. Like, I feel like every kid I know that has a controller is like, this thing is sticky as fuck, and I don't know why.
Yeah. All the rubber on their controllers has been like ripped off. A shoulder button won't click in. It's just like, right, who knows what's in there? There's like half a peanut butter and jelly sandwich now in a controller. It's like, this goes over here, and we keep this in here. Also, I did that because they would leave their controllers out when we first got the dog. The dog would also chew the controllers, and I said,
yes.
I'm keeping my controller out of there. Kids is the game that destroyed the most controllers in my house. All right, next question.
Okay. Yes, Vinny, can you read this one from Chris, please?
Sure. What cool new skills have you learned out of necessity while in quarantine? Like most of the world, my wife, Marissa, learned to bake bread and pies, a skill I greatly appreciate. That comes from Chris. New skills.
I feel like I am cooking more. I don't know if it's a new skill, but it's like, well, I've learned to make a few new dishes because like I kind of fucking have to.
Right.
And also I am jogging more now, so I feel like I actually understand it a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Oh, you learned how to run? That's cool.
I learned how to run. Mm-hmm. It was a hard process, but I figured my legs finally listened to my brain.
I'm trying to think of a new skill.
Jeff, you're really tickled by that one.
I don't know. I feel like it's mostly stuff with the kids, like having to figure out what stuff to do. I don't know if that's a skill or not, but like trying to figure out creative new games and change things up, and how do you entertain people who have an attention span of a minute and a half, and kind of do all that. Like card tricks, jokes. We made this doesn't count as a skill, but maybe it does. Spent a long time trying to make a tower of cards. Like
a house of cards.
House of cards, yeah, some people call it. And that's hard to do. And we came up with a great system, so we learned a new skill there.
Glue? Is your great system glue?
Yeah, it's just gluing them in. We all rolled joints the other day and then figured out how to do that. No, I'm just kidding. That's seeing if you're all playing attention. Two of you were, and it took a second on the third. I don't know. I've been applying a couple of skills that I have had, which is nice. Like other stuff that I've done before. Home repair stuff and bunch of nonsense. I got a question. Does anybody know how to stop squirrels from eating peaches off a peach tree? That's a skill I would like to acquire.
Oh yeah, poison the peaches.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say. Put a big old net around it.
They chewed through it.
Put a big net around your peach tree. Really?
They chew through the net.
Okay.
What about a metal cage?
It's a big thing to put around a peach tree, but I could try.
Like a shark cage type thing.
Put something more delicious than peaches next to the peach tree that squirrels will like.
Like what?
Put a pile of acorns next to it.
I don't think they care.
You think a squirrel's gonna go acorn over a peach? I don't know. Maybe.
According to cartoons. Okay, put a pile of hamburgers next to it.
Then I would get caught in the.
Yeah, just go up to a McDonald's drive-thru right now and order 1 million hamburgers and see how well that goes.
The kids are gonna hear rattling in the night and be like, "Oh, Dad's in the squirrel trap again."
But I feel so good. Pull the string on his back. Take a slice.
Oh, Dad's eating a bunch of day-old pizza in the squirrel trap.
Outdoor pizza, no less.
We thought maybe the dog would have any effect on it. Maybe since the dog goes to the bathroom in the yard, they would be like an animal and smell like their turd. No, they just are up there.
Dude.
Yeah. No.
Squirrels have evolved, man. I don't know. Remember when we used to work in New York and we'd go to Madison Square Park? You see those squirrels steal a sandwich out of someone's hand.
Literally,
man.
They wouldn't steal a sandwich out of someone's hand. They would basically punch them in the face and then take the sandwich. Those squirrels were tough.
And their wallet.
And their wallet.
City animals do not give a shit.
No.
They're going to be running this city inside of 18 months. And honestly, they couldn't do a worse job than what we've already got.
Not wrong.
All right. That was my new skill I want to learn. Anybody else have skills they want to talk about?
I definitely learned a few more house maintenance things and adjacent things. I've been wanting very much to start doing more drawing and coloring and that kind of thing. And I learned how to use a few new iPad apps.
Okay.
I learned how to use Procreate.
I zoomed with my grandkids the other day. It's
the best is telling someone.
I learned how to text someone.
You could do we type happy birthday and then the birthday things go up. That's fun. Confetti.
That joke reminds me of I watched that Seinfeld Netflix special the other day, and that dude's 65 now, but he's just getting to smartphone jokes in his routine. And I'm just like, oh fuck. Okay, maybe I'm not his audience anymore. And I'm trying. There is a really different kind of project that I'm trying to work on. I saw it on TikTok. And hold on, I'm just trying to get my cred lowered.
Okay, yeah, TikTok. Now I know he's cool.
So I don't know if you guys. There's this thing where people paint with acrylic, like epoxy, and you basically make. So it's this hardening acrylic. So you have 10 minutes to play around with it before it hardens, and then it hardens in a really cool design. And I just want to make that. So I have.
Is that when people making molds where they I feel like I've seen these where it's here's a comb, but I'm pouring in this clear acrylic and putting in flower petals. Is this what you're talking about?
I want to do something cool like that, and I want to put things in that.
Making a pinball machine out of acrylic.
I want to just I don't know. I just feel like I could make cool art, and I want to do that. I have a basement with a lot of space that I'm sure I could make a mess in and not. I have you've seen that murder torture room in my basement.
Your basement's beautiful. It's gigantic.
It's huge,
What?
and there's it's a huge basement. There's this one closed off like room in my basement. We call it the murder room because it's like very, dark and weird and
where
quiet.
murders happen.
And there's like ventilation in there because the person who owned this place was like building something mechanical in there. Anyway,
I want to know what that was. Don't want to know what they were building.
I think it's very benign, like an engine or something. But anyway, like I want to do that. I want to like experiment that. So I've been researching how to do it, and I want to get because it's basically like.
Is it just like 2-part epoxy with acrylic mixed in?
Yeah, you like and once you mix it, you only have a certain amount of time to play with it. It's called, I forget what it's called, but there's certain mixtures that take longer to harden or cure, I think they call it. But yeah.
Yes, Abby.
That's all I got. That's all.
Nothing. Yeah. I was going to pivot to talking about me, and then I was like, "Oh, there might be more of this conversation."
I think that's it. If you want to take it. Okay.
Another thing I have learned, I just remembered in quarantine, I took a French class, learning French in the process.
That's great.
Yes. Je suis très mauvais.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe you said that. Wow. Swearing in French already.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I don't know. I've been going back to some old hobbies. Play some music for the kids.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
I think it's also okay to, not be productive right now.
I've got so many hobbies. They're productive.
Yeah, you got stuff
but they're
you're
old.
doing.
I'm not just doing nothing. They just happen to be old hobbies.
No, I'm not saying that you weren't productive. I'm saying in general, I think it's okay if you aren't productive.
Out. Go veg out, please. I wish. Yes. That's my new hobby. I wish that's a skill I learned how to fucking relax.
I will just add one quick one here that is not necessarily a new skill, but it has helped me refine an existing skill. The last several dozen weeks of drumming and also a few helpful comments from people, has actually made me realize that my wrist technique in drumming had gotten real bad. I was like angling my wrist in a way that was not really the way you should be doing it. And I think that was just because I went like 7 years not really playing with a band. And so I just kind of got into a weird distorted way of like holding my stick. And then I've sort of slowly been trying to retrain myself to keep my wrist straight and to, use more fingers like when I'm like resting the stick in there. So it has actually made, I'm still working on it, but it has made me more conscious of it. And it has made me actually want to like refine and make my technique better.
This is a question I should probably have asked you off air. Well, how is the band doing?
On hiatus.
Okay. Yeah, so just taking a break.
Like
how do you meet right now?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't have Zoom rehearsals. It's also like you can't really do timing with music on Zoom. I was in a group of people and we sang happy birthday to someone over Zoom, and it was a nightmare in a way I really enjoyed. So I can only imagine like practicing with a band would be bad.
Yeah. The rehearsal space that we were using, I think, has opened back up, but none of us are like rushing to jump back into a public confined space that lots of bands use. So right now there is no ETA on when we will start rehearsing or playing again.
Well, I'm putting together a fund so you can buy your own island. It's called.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's called Hardcore Island. Not to be confused with different hardcore.
Sorry,
islands.
I think UFC might have already locked that one down.
And then you can play music all the time. Abby, what's next?
Real quick, I will say this.
More skills.
No, because Abby was talking about how like what did you say, Abby? That like you shouldn't feel bad for not being productive.
Yeah, you don't have to be productive. It's fine.
Yeah, I and especially that's true. I think for like the first, at least for me, like the first 4 to 6 weeks, I was very bummed out. I'd been working on a few things before the lockdown and everything, and I found no motivation to do anything for a very long time. But as time went by, I think like I was able to find the right headspace to like, work back, start working on other things again. I feel like enough time has passed where it's like, oh, this, I feel like I'm in a good spot now, though, where I do feel, fortuitous to have this amount of time to, be home a lot and to have, the access still to accomplish the things that, I want to do. Because I feel like, I don't know, there's a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people who are like, oh, I always wanted to write something or I always wanted to do something. And I do think this is a very unique situation where, if you're able to do something without having to leave the house, you shouldn't maybe missed the boat on that because I just don't know how long this is going to last. So
forever.
But at the same time, and I guess you can't have it both ways. But at the same time, I'm with you too, Abby. If you just want to fucking chill. You know?
Yeah. I think it's also like I can see why it's hard for folks to be in the headspace to be productive right now. Like I think both are fine. Definitely. I think also like you look into like your life of like, oh, if only I had all this time, I do this and I do that and I do that. But you don't really realize the realities of like being trapped in your own home for days on end and like what that does to you mentally, and maybe that makes it harder for you to be productive. On top of like also the world being on fire.
I have two things to add. One is, I don't know where this mark on my shirt came from. I feel like I didn't have it when I started this show. I don't know where all my clothes are being ruined. Every
deodorant?
I don't think so. I don't know how it would have gotten on the outside. That's first thing. I don't know where that came from. I don't feel like it wasn't there at the beginning of the show, so I don't know how it would have gotten there. I feel like all my clothes now have some form of paint. That's the problem with being home all day too. Is like, usually if I had a project on the weekend, I put on my crappy painting clothes, and now I'm just putting on my regular clothes and just doing a thing, and I got paint on everything. Second thing is, this is gonna be fun. Alex, you're gonna love this one. My dog poops in my backyard. Here's a skill I want to learn. My dog poops in my backyard. But we still have bags from when we thought the dog wouldn't poop in the backyard, so we've been using the bags. We put the bags in the thing. Seems very wasteful. The dog's just pooping in the backyard. Does anybody know of like I've seen some people just dig a septic hole in like their backyard, and you put like a bucket there with some enzymes that we could just shovel the poop into a hole in the backyard and put a lid on that. Jeff, do your dog poops on a walk or in your yard?
So I'm gonna go. You guys have fun with the conversation. I'm just gonna leave if that's okay.
My dog poops on walks.
On walks, okay. So you just bag it and dump it.
We bag it, and we actually do have an outdoor poop-only receptacle that we let fill up to its capacity, and then at
put
which
out
point
with the trash.
We put it out with the trash.
You're lovely.
They must have
it's not that much poop. It's a good amount of shit, but not as much.
They must have like compostable stuff because they have those like waste compostable like toilets for human waste. So you would think that you'd be able to compost doggy waste.
So the problem with that is, or the problem we've run into is we have compostable dog waste bags. We have compostable dogs, but then you also need compostable garbage bags if you're going to put them, in the garbage bag to put out with the trash, right? So because otherwise they're inside the thing.
Right.
So those are harder to find, like big kitchen compostable garbage bags. I think I'm just going to dig a hole and throw some enzymes in there and put it. I
love the idea of the next person to buy your house being like, there's this weird soft spot in the backyard.
It's just full of poop.
And then it's just like a huge thing of dog shit.
No, so you can't use it as fertilizer or anything because if dogs they're not vegetarians, they'll eat meat and stuff like that. You're not supposed to put meat for fertilizer, but no, it'll go back to Earth the way that it's supposed to. Anyway, thanks, Alex, for the tip.
Yeah, I'm sure that is how it works when it is a big open hole full of the same thing for it to turn into soil. It wouldn't do that if you just left it in the backyard as is. But if you put it in a hole where it's just
there'll be enzymes in there. You put bacteria and enzymes.
What are enzymes? What are you even talking about? You sprinkle some enzymes on some doo-doo?
This is the question I had, Vinny. Do you have an enzyme guy that we don't know about? Do you have a source?
Enzymes. It's not hard to get. Everybody has enzymes. You just vomit in there. You put some enzymes in there. It'll work out. Don't worry.
Vinny, you poop on your dog's poop every time it poops.
That's right.
That's how you solve this problem.
That's how I trained the dog to poop in the hole, and we bond out there. You can get. Hey, you want some enzymes? I'll get you some enzymes.
I really didn't know where this was going.
It was the shirt thing and the poop thing. Don't worry. I'll show you all the poop hole someday when you can visit. All right. More emails.
Oh, yes. Alex, why don't you cleanse your palate with this one from Adrian?
Okay, I will cleanse my palate here. Hey, Beasters. Recently watched Lord of War for the first time. Who do you think is the ideal second to Nicolas Cage, which I assume means ideal co-star, right?
Co-star, yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else got any thoughts on this?
My thoughts are, at least personally, so that you won't get like the most like unhinged Nick Cage with this, but I really love it. Like you'll see this in like National Treasure or like other movies where like, oh, Nick Cage is like a handsome lead in this ? Where like his co-star is like his sidekick is clearly like a guy who is like younger, a little more handsome, but like he's playing a big dumb doofus. He's playing just like a stupid idiot. Nick Cage is the one who's like, no, I'm taking charge. Bye, Jeff.
He did not appreciate your answer. Also, he was frozen for like a half hour.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what I love. I love a character that's like, this character is the more handsome and probably better, but like Nick Cage is the lead.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is always a lot of fun. He definitely has like a long list of like young, slightly more handsome actors that have existed as gigantic doofuses alongside him. So, you know, I think that's always the fun role. Vinny, do you have any particular actors or actresses you think are ideal for this?
I mean, ideal would be Nick Cage versus Nick Cage. Like he's just acting against
Well, they're making
himself.
that movie, so
what is that one?
There's apparently a movie they're making where he is at some point dealing with various personas and characters that he has played over the years in a fictionalized story about himself. Where I think it's like a JCVD thing where he is playing like a meta sort of like stylized version of himself in the movie. And he is like talking to and dealing with past characters that he has played.
That sounds ideal to me.
Cage on Cage.
Well, that sounds second ideal. First one was kind of thinking more like, he plays all the different characters in some kind of like Eddie Murphy-esque, like a family, right? Like he's like, oh, look at this, and Nick Cage is playing the mom. And
Nick Cage is the Clumps.
Yes, the Clumps, but with a C for the what is the Clumps with the C? I don't know.
It's with a K.
Okay, second would be an animal. A talking animal, like some kind of dog or a cat or a ferret, maybe a snake would be fun.
Would you settle for
iguana?
Would you settle for evil animatronics because he's also making that movie?
What is that one?
It's a movie that is not Five Nights at Freddy's, but it is basically Five Nights at Freddy's.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, third up would be his thumb. Like a little Nick Cage face on his thumb.
Well, actually, Vinny, no,
I'm trying to stump you here.
No, you got that one.
But he's still working, huh? He's still got.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So for my part, I would say the ideal actors for Nicolas Cage, not just like sidekick characters, but like are ones that display a similar level of manic weird energy, but not identical. Like not people who are just trying to do the exact same thing as Cage, but are doing their own weird fucking thing, which is why I always thought that, particularly in Face Off, John Travolta was a perfect foil for him because he's a huge ham too. He's a big old ham hock, but he's a different kind of ham hock. And I think that their dueling energies were very complementary of one another. And I'm not saying that, I want to run right out and go see a whole bunch of new John Travolta movies because I don't need that in my life. But I always felt like they could do more. And also of actors that, as far as I know, he's never worked with, I feel like Tilda Swinton would be a really good compliment to Nick Cage energy in terms of her own willingness to just get fucking weird and do some wild shit.
Just touch each other and explode. Just like
someone make that happen.
Ooh, I would love that. Jeff, do you?
I'm back. Wait, did you guys not know I was gone?
No, I just noticed that I felt really good for a while, and I wasn't sure why.
Wow.
All right, real quick. Tilda Swinton was an adaptation, but she didn't get real weird in that movie.
I think I'm running on generator juice right now.
Did you lose your recording?
No, I got it.
Thanks.
It's saved.
You're good.
That's crazy, right? Yeah, I'm okay, Vinny. Don't worry.
Listen, you drink your generator juice and do whatever you need to do. Is your recording okay?
That was weird.
Let's get through this podcast before you run out of propane or whatever you got in the backyard.
Okay, read the next one.
All
Jeff,
right.
before you leave, read this one from Scott.
All right, hold on. Tabs are still reopening. Give me a second here. I'm sorry. From Scott?
Yes,
Scott.
the last one.
Got it. Stop highlighting it, Abby.
Sorry.
In a past Beastcast, forgive me as I don't remember the episode number, Mahardy said the word permadeath can sometimes instantly sell him on a game. My question is this: what words for you have the opposite effect? For me, anytime I hear hero shooter or hear that a game has a season, I've already lost interest. Good question.
Yeah. Trying to think out of the gate what kind of turns me off.
Sluter.
That's just the sound of the word.
Please, it's Schluter.
Schluter, sorry.
I think for me,
shit,
any like RPG that has like one letter before it. You know what I mean?
Like
a JRPG, CRPG,
BRPG,
LRPG, any letter before. I'm like, I don't think this is for me.
RPG.
Okay.
I think I like games more before they say the word roguelite or roguelike. If it's like, check out this game, I'm like, yeah, and then it's like, and it's got a lot of roguelike elements and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I like it a little less now, I think. Sports.
Okay.
If you say sports before the name of the game, then usually I'm like, wow, look at this game. Then they're like, it's a sports game. Then I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll look at it later.
It's sports.
I don't know, sports.
If you tell me I gotta build stuff, I don't want to build nothing. I just want to wreck shit.
Like some assembly required, or
like the closest I get to wanting to build things is building civs in Civilization. I don't want to build no goddamn houses. I don't want to fucking take apart ships. I don't want to do any of that stuff. I don't want to no building, no none of that. I want wanton destruction. What
about flipping? Like a flipping simulator. Like let's say you were going to go flip some houses.
I have no grudge or issue with House Flipper. I wish it well, and I wish those who enjoy it well. I have no animosity, but it is not for me.
All right. That's fine.
Anything that is described as edgy or epic or funny. If any of those words that are self-described games, if they are using that as a self-described thing, then I am kind of out. If it's in the marketing, like the funniest game you'll ever play, it's like, oh, you are so wrong. You're already wrong.
Epic is another good one.
Oh man, epic battles. Like, okay, all right, goodbye.
Yeah, Hero does it for me too, though.
Hero?
Anything Hero is just like
Guitar Hero?
I don't know. It just seems like there's some perhaps lack of effort happening at some point.
Just throwing Hero in there.
It's just like okay.
All right. Is that the last email?
Yes.
Okay, then it must be time for me to move my mouse over here and then find the music for corrections. If you've got a correction, you can send them in to beastcast@giantbomb.com. That is beastcast@giantbomb.com. Same email address for the emails, but this time we're talking about corrections. Abby, anything that needs correcting this week?
There is one thing, Vinny.
Uh-oh.
I think you should maybe take it away here from Brad.
Okay, I'm a little nervous. I really don't like getting stuff wrong. Beastcast, here they say, I have a quick correction for Vinny, who referred to the first D&D 5e starter set as Lost Mine of Phandalin. It's actually Lost Mine of Phandelver.
Yep.
Seems like an understandable mistake.
That's gonna do it for this week's show, folks. Oh man, I love that. That's one of my favorite corrections we have ever had. It's because
why?
Because they are so right that is actually the name.
Yep.
I like that they have a whole thing.
Yeah, they have a whole thing. Yeah, they go. This is a very understandable mistake. The nearby town, the town is named Phandalin. It's a very, and I'm saying this is a legit correction, but it's a very, actually, it's Frankenstein's monster. It's
very specific.
The very understandable mistake, as the nearby town is named Phandalin. Neither the mine nor the town are to be confused with Flan, the location of the very first gold box game, Pools of Radiance. But the name of the town is called Phandalin. The name of the module is called Lost Mine of Phandelver. It's I love it. Thank you very much, Brad, for sending that in. I appreciate it. Also, it's a good campaign. Also, I think it's not as good as that secondary starter kit they put out. And if you're getting into D&D 5e, I would get that one.
I want to play D&D. Time, invite me to your D&D group.
Remember when we used to play D&D? We got to call somebody. We got to call somebody.
Like to do it again. My old Doots just lost. Dude doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. My Doots. Just put your Doot in the Doot hole in my backyard. It's a bunch of enzymes in there. That's going to do it for this week's show. Like I said, near the top of the show, we're going to have a Sunday is going to be Ubisoft kicking off their, what are they calling it? Forward? I don't know. It's
Ubisoft Forward.
Not E3 press conference stuff. We'll see how long that goes. We will be live streaming it here. We will be talking over it here. Join us for that. I assume we will see something like Assassin's Creed. I assume you will see something like Watch Dogs. And I don't know if Jeff Backelar's power went out, but he has left the building. So we will take this opportunity.
Spoilers for this Ubisoft press conference.
Yeah, he didn't. Oh, he's Assassin's Creed spoilers. Thank you very much, Alex Navarro. Thank you very much, Abby Russell. I'm going to play the end of the show music now. And that will give Backelar approximately a minute and 20 seconds to come back.
He won't.
Happy birthday gone. If it's your birthday out there. Oh, I should say that Ubisoft thing starts 3 o'clock Eastern. Well, we're going to get in there about 15 minutes early, so you can join us about 2:45 Eastern and whatever the equivalent of that is in your specific time zone. Also, you should go check out Mass Alex happening on the site. You should go check out some of that astroneering stuff we talked about. If you want to see some real Sims streaming, you should go check out Abby Russell laying it down with that 100 baby challenge on The Sims. Yeah. And also playing Mario Galaxy. You can look at that. A bunch of other stuff on the site.
Some humongous games.
And maybe there'll be some.
We're taking a break from Clue Crew, right, Alex?
Yeah, just for a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll try to do something fun on Friday mornings. Maybe some humongous games.
Oh, humongous games, folks. And for more humongous streaming and for humongous game playing, tune in to giantbomb.com/chat and around the site for more stuff. That's going to do it for this week's show. I hope Jeff Backelar is okay, but I really hope his recording's okay. Take care, everybody. We'll be back next week.